Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Elon Musk, and welcome back. Today, I am not here to give you a comfortable speech. I'm here to challenge you, to push you, to make you question the limits you've set for yourself. Because the truth is, success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who act, who dare, and who refuse to quit. You will never feel ready. That is the first truth you need to accept. The perfect moment you are waiting for, that day when your fears vanish, your doubts dissolve, and you finally feel confident enough to act, it will never come. Most people spend their lives waiting for that green light. They wait for the right timing, the right conditions, the right circumstances, the right mood. And while they wait, life moves forward without them, opportunities pass, years disappear. And when they finally look back, they see a long trail of things they could have done, but didn't. If you take nothing else from what I say today, take this. You must force yourself to act before you feel ready. When I started SpaceX, I didn't have a perfect plan. I didn't have endless certainty. I had doubts, and not small ones. The kind of doubts that keep you up at night. The kind of doubts that make you question whether you're about to make the biggest mistake of your life. I had questions I couldn't yet answer, problems I knew were coming but couldn't fully see, and I had plenty of people, experienced, respected people, telling me it wouldn't work, explaining in detail all the reasons why this idea was destined to fail. But here's the truth. If I had waited until I felt completely prepared, I would have been waiting forever. The conditions for starting are never perfect, and the people who wait for perfection are the ones still waiting years later. Most people don't fail because they make the wrong move. They fail because they never move at all, paralyzed by the illusion that more time will bring certainty. Here's what I've learned over and over. Action creates clarity. You don't think your way into success. You act your way into it. The fog only clears when you start walking through it. You figure things out while moving forward, not by standing still and imagining every possible scenario. When I invested nearly all my personal fortune into Tesla and SpaceX, it wasn't because I was reckless. It was because I understood that extraordinary results demand extraordinary commitment. You can't tiptoe your way into breakthroughs. You can't commit to building rockets and expect to touch orbit. You must leap. Even if your knees are shaking, even if the landing looks uncertain, even if you know that leap might test you harder than anything you've faced before. Think about this. Every innovation that changed the world started as an idea in someone's mind, but ideas alone are worthless without execution. The iPhone went magic because Steve Jobs thought about it, so it was magic because his team built it. The electric car went revolutionary because it was imagined. It became revolutionary because people rolled up their sleeves and made it real. You can read books, watch videos, plan strategies, and study your craft for years. But nothing replaces the moment you actually do the work. There is a trap many people fall into, the trap of preparation without execution. They call it research, planning, or getting ready, but in truth, it's fear disguised as productivity. They convince themselves they are being careful and responsible, but deep down, they're avoiding the discomfort of action. The mind will always try to protect you from discomfort. That's its job. It whispers, wait until you know more, wait until you're sure, wait until you feel confident. But here's the brutal truth. Confidence comes from doing, not from waiting. When we were building the first Falcon rocket, everything was on the line. We had enough funding for 3 launches. The first failed, the second failed, the third failed. Each time the safe thing to do would have been to stop, to walk away, to say we tried, it didn't work. But safety is the enemy of greatness. If we had stopped, there would be no SpaceX today. On the 4th attempt with everything on the line, we succeeded. And that success was not the result of perfect conditions. It was the result of relentless action taken when everything felt uncertain. Action is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The first time you take a risk, it will feel terrifying. The 10th time, it will feel natural. People who seem fearless aren't born that way. They've just trained themselves to move forward despite fear. And here's the key: you must move while you're scared. If you wait for fear to disappear, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. You know, I meet so many people who say they want to start a business, launch a product, change careers, or take control of their health. And yet, when I ask what they've done in the last 30 days to make it happen, the answer is often nothing. They're thinking about it, they're talking about it, but they're not doing it. That's the gap between dreams and reality. Action. You know, you have to understand something. The people you admire, the ones who built companies, wrote books, changed industries, they weren't given permission. They didn't wait for approval. They didn't wait for the world to tell them it was okay to begin. They forced themselves to take action, often in moments when everything in them wanted to hesitate. You know, there's a moment every day where you face a choice, comfort or growth. Comfort is easy. Comfort feels safe. Comfort whispers, stay here, nothing bad will happen. But comfort is a slow death. It drains your potential. Growth feels dangerous. Growth demands risk. Growth forces you to face rejection, failure, and the possibility of embarrassment. But growth is where your future lies. If you want to achieve anything extraordinary, you must choose growth again and again. Let me be blunt. You are not tired. You are unchallenged. You are not stuck. You are resisting change. You are not unlucky. You are avoiding action. Every single one of us has the ability to act today. Maybe you can't take the final step right now, but you can take the first step. You can send the email, make the phone call, start writing the first page, launch the prototype. Your first step doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to happen. And don't tell yourself you're waiting for motivation. Motivation is overrated. It's unreliable. It comes and goes. Action doesn't require motivation. Motivation grows out of action. When you start moving, when you start creating, when you start making progress, motivation follows. It's like pushing a car. It's hardest to start, but once it's rolling, momentum takes over. And when I launched Tesla, the auto industry laughed. They said electric cars would never work. They said it was impossible to compete with century-old giants. But we didn't sit in a room debating whether or not they were right. We started building, we took action, and every year, every improvement, every breakthrough, they came because we kept moving forward, even when it felt like the odds were stacked against us. You know, you will face resistance, you will face failure, you will face days when it feels like nothing is working. That's normal, that's part of the process. You don't get to skip the hard parts. But here's the thing, those hard parts are what make you stronger. Every setback forces you to adapt. Every failure teaches you something that success never could. Every obstacle you push through builds your capacity to handle bigger challenges. You know, think about it. How many times in your life have you done something you thought you couldn't do, and then realized afterward that you were capable all along? That's what happens when you act. Action reveals your strength. Waiting hides it. You know, if you want to change your life, here's the simplest formula I can give you. Stop overthinking and start executing. Wake up every day and ask yourself, what's the one action I can take today that moves me closer to my goal? Then do it. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. If you do that every single day for a year, your life will be unrecognizable. You know, there is no magic in thinking about success. The magic is in building it. The world doesn't remember people who had ideas. It remembers the people who made them real. The only difference between where you are now and where you want to be is the actions you take in between. So here's my challenge to you. Today, force yourself to take one bold action, send the message, make the pitch, start the project, step into the gym, launch the channel, do something that scares you. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start. Because once you start, momentum will do the rest, And when you look back a year from now, you'll realize that this was the moment you stopped, waiting for perfect conditions and started building the life you wanted. This is the line you cross. This is the day you choose action over excuses. The clock is ticking. Opportunities are passing. The future is coming, whether you're ready or not. Don't let it arrive while you're still standing still. Move now. Take the step. Build the thing. Risk the failure. Embrace the uncertainty. Because in the end, the only real failure is never trying at all. Force yourself to take action and never ever stop